Hey y'all, Johnny Mullet here. Welcome to another episode of the Skoolie Maintenance and Repair Series. Today we're going to talk about PM service. We're going to talk about your oil change and your grease job. And specifically, we're going to talk about how much is it going to cost. That's the most important thing. Because I don't want to hear of you Skoolie people out there getting an oil change costing you $600, okay? Because that is pretty excessive, depending on your engine. Today we're going to talk about the full-size Skoolies with a diesel engine. This may also apply to some van chassis like Power Stroke Econoline series and so forth. But we're going to focus today on your most common engines found in Skoolies, which would be like the T444E, which is the engine I have in my bus. The DT466 mechanical, the DT466E, the Caterpillar 3116, and the C7, the Cummins 5.9. These are all very common engines that you will find in most of the Skoolies you'll see out there. Now, there are other newer engines out there, like Mercedes-Benz and PACCAR and so forth. And these are going to I'm not going to include these in this episode because we're going to go with the most common. Okay, and prices vary. Prices vary a lot. So, first off, your maintenance should be done. The maintenance schedule that I have for my bus is every 5,000 miles, I do a grease job, which includes greasing the chassis, checking all the fluid levels, checking the tires. At 10,000 miles, I change the oil, grease the chassis, check the tires, check all the fluid levels. So, a good number is 10,000 mile oil change services, and you should do one grease job in between every 10,000 mile interval. So let's talk about the prices. Let's say you got a T444E. Okay, I got these prices written down. A lot of these take regular spin-on filters. Some of them take cartridge style filters. The oil change on a T444E, let's see, the oil filter is about 17 bucks. Now, I'm pricing Baldwin filters, and these are a good quality filter. I'm not quoting the cheapest, crap you can buy on eBay, or I'm not talking about dealership filters or specific engine filters like Caterpillar. So, again, the oil filter is like 17 bucks. The fuel filter, which is this one here, it's about 30 bucks. And that particular engine takes anywhere from 16 to 20 quarts, depending on if it's in a Power Stroke version or if it's in a full-size bus chassis. So I did the math for you guys. If you got a T444E, or a 7.3 Power Stroke, the prices of the filters. Now, we got to also include labor. If you're going to pay a shop to do this, the general rule for a complete service. Now, a complete service is going to include changing your engine oil, changing your engine oil filter or filters, and changing your fuel filters. It's also supposed to include a complete grease job, and that means greasing every grease zerk, every grease fitting on your chassis. It should also include checking all your fluid levels, including the rear differential, the transmission fluid, even the washer fluid, the coolant. All fluid levels should be checked during a PM service. Now, this is how we do it at our shop. I'm not sure how other shops do it, if they charge more or what. This would also include checking your tire pressures. So, in a general rule of thumb here at our shop, it's an hour and a half labor to do a PM service, which includes what I just stated: the oil change, the grease job, the fluid level check, the tire check. So an hour and a half labor at most shops, you're going to pay about $100 an hour at a dealership or even a lot of truck shops. Some labor rates are cheaper, some are more, so you might want to shop around or call around. So you figure $150 right off the bat for labor, and then you add up the filters. And now, this does not include additional fluids. Assume your washer fluid's low. They're going to charge you $2-3 to top that off. They're going to charge you another, $3, $4, $5, $6 for a quart of, transmission fluid or whatever. That's if they are checking your fluids. That's the most important thing. A lot of shops say they do stuff, but they don't. But I will teach you how to check that. So the T444E, if you were going to get a complete service at a shop and you were going to pay their labor rate at $100 an hour plus all your filters, this does not include additionals, you're going to be talking about $275. You add tax, just shy of $300 for a PM service for that particular engine. If you got a DT466, the older mechanical style, they have a much larger oil filter, and the oil filter is a little more expensive. They also have a more expensive fuel filter. So the old mechanical DT466, about $330, $340 with tax. If you got a DT466E, that's about $350. That one there takes an even larger filter, a much more expensive filter. Cummins should be very similar to the T444E. It's got a oil and a fuel filter, so that one there should be around $270. And Caterpillar should also be, I'm going to say, closer to the $300 range, because a lot of Caterpillars run 2 fuel filters. Your particular engine might have 1 fuel filter, it might have 2, it might have more. It's hard to tell. But I just wanted to let you know that that's what you're going to pay for. I gave you the price ranges, anywhere from $275 to $400 for a complete PM service. And if you're paying that money, hopefully you're getting the service done correctly. If they're going to charge you an hour and a half labor, they should be checking your tire pressures, they should be greasing your chassis, they should be checking all your fluid levels. Very important. Now, some people like to save money. I like to save money, and I do my own service. If you have a way where you can dispose of your own engine oil, in an environmentally safe way, then you can change your own oil, do some research on how to do it. And you can save cost. I mean, you can literally change your oil on your T444E for, I'm going to guess, let's see, oil filter is $17, $30 for the fuel filter. Let's say $72 in oil, about $115, $120, and then you do the work yourself. You can save money that way. So one thing you want to check for, and we're going to go check that right now. You can very easily see if your vehicle was greased with a grease gun just by popping your hood or crawling under the front and taking a look. For instance, right here, you can see the fresh grease on the grease zerk here. You look around, you can see the grease. You can tell the vehicle has been serviced. You can see the evidence that it's been greased. And then you come on over here and take a look at a vehicle that's not been greased. You get the general idea. This vehicle here, if you look right here on the brake slack adjuster, the grease fitting is supposed to be right here. See this? You can tell there has not been a grease gun on that. There's another grease fitting over there that's buried. You can't even see it. There is no evidence that this vehicle had a grease job done. So you want to make sure your maintenance is getting done right, so you got to find a shop that you can trust. And another way you can save money on your service is grease the truck yourself. Go out and get you a good grease gun. I'm not talking a piece of crap with the metal hard rod. You want a flexible hose, or get a grease gun and buy the hose separately. You buy your grease tubes and you can grease your own vehicle. That will save you lots of money and lots of time. So basically, if you want, you can go to a shop and pay for just the oil change. I want the oil and filters changed. You'll take care of the rest of the maintenance. You grease the chassis, you get you an air gauge and an air chuck, you check your tires, you check your fluid levels. That'll save you money. There's nothing wrong with doing your own service. And also, if you're doing 5,000 mile grease intervals, you don't have to stop for a shop and schedule an appointment. You can literally grease your own chassis and save money and save precious time. So I just wanted to share this episode with you on the Skoolie Maintenance Repair Series on what it should cost for a complete PM service for your vehicle chassis. Now, van chassis, they should be very similar in price if it has a diesel engine. If you have a gasoline engine, the price will be even cheaper. If you have a General Motors with a 6.0 gas engine, it's going to be a lot cheaper than a diesel engine. There's less oil and cheaper filters, and the fuel filter interval, is a lot longer than on a diesel engine. So take that into mind. If you have a newer, 2005 or newer vehicle, let's suppose you have a 6.0 liter, a VT365. I quoted you $275 for the T444E, the predecessor to that engine, the 6.0 or VT365 is going to cost you about $30 more because of filters. So newer engines like Mercedes-Benz take a lot of cartridge type filters, and for some reason cartridge filters cost more than a filter that already has a housing and all the guts inside. I don't understand that concept myself, but it seems like you can buy a filter this size for $25-30, or you can buy the guts for $50. I don't get it, but that's the way the industry is, and that's the way it works. Engine oil. All these vehicles should take 15W40 diesel truck oil. Shell Rotella 15W40, Dello 400, Mobil Delvac. Those are all good oils. 15W40 rating is perfect for all diesel engines in most all weather conditions. Some newer diesel engines may require a synthetic oil. It'll cost you a lot more. I'm not even going to talk about Sprinter vans. This is not a van channel. Those, it's a small diesel engine, but very expensive oil, very expensive filters. Everything is, everything varies. So, like I said, today I was focusing on your most common engines, and we touched bases on pretty much every one of them. I gave you a general idea of what the cost should be for a PM service. So take that and, consider that you got to do this every 10,000 miles, and then a grease job in between. Never hurts. So that's going to conclude this episode of the Skoolie Maintenance and Repair Series. I want you to hang in there and keep an eye out on this channel, because we are going to get into a lot more on this particular series. We're going to start discussing hydraulic brake systems. We're going to start discussing air brake systems. I'm going to show you how they work. I'm going to show you how to repair and diagnose them. So definitely hang in there. We will see you next time. Have a great day.